those moments when the worldly conditioning takes us away from the peace that is our natural state. If you have any Course in Miracle people, you know, there's a saying there that regardless of what's going on and how you feel, and what's happening to your emotions and your intellect and your mentality at the time, we could choose peace instead of this. It doesn't matter what circumstances, situations, or events are, and how that makes us feel. We could choose peace instead of whatever they cause us to initially feel. And they will cause us to initially feel something. I mean, we're human. That's part of the human condition. But, I mean, even Jesus, the master teacher, threw over the money-changing tables in the temple. I mean, none of us can be 24/7 every second of our lives in that highest and best order. So perception is very important. I might have a story about perception. It seems there's a little boy in his bedroom, and he gets up off his bed and he puts on his baseball cap and he grabs his mitt and his ball and his bat, and he walks outside to the park behind the house, and all the way out he's saying to himself, I'm the greatest batter in the world. I'm the greatest batter in the world. I'm the greatest batter in the world. And he gets out and he puts that bat up on his shoulder and he throws the ball up and he swings and just misses. He says, but I'm the greatest batter in the world. Strike one. Doesn't matter. I'm the greatest batter in the world. He throws the ball up again, he swings, and again he misses. He says, strike two. Doesn't matter. I'm the greatest batter in the world. And he just stops and he kind of centers himself and he goes within. You know how we do? Yeah. And again he throws that ball up in the air and he swings that bat with all his might. And the only sound is the plop it makes when it lands on the grass right at his feet, because he missed it again. He says, wow, but I'm the greatest batter in the world. That's strike three. I'm the greatest pitcher in the world. I just struck out the greatest batter in the world. It's all about the perception. Okay? The same thing happened. Have you ever known anybody, and I'm not going to ask for a show of hands because we all know this person or these people, walked around and you get the doom and gloom and woe is me, and what was that cartoon with the Linus with a little dark cloud over his head, and oh, woe is me, and just acquiescing to any and all sort of untoward conditions in their life. Well, if it's God's will, I'll live in poverty forever. If it's God's will, I'll be sick and crippled and maimed. If it's God's will, I'll die young. God's will is none of that. God's only will for us is the power, the perfection, the peace that God is. There's only one substance from which all things are made. We are made of the same thing that the stardust. Remember that? Oh, we're pieces of stardust. Well, of course we are. There's only one substance. That's the substance of God. From that huge giant consciousness with no limits, with no boundaries, with no form really, because it's all formless, it's all unmanifest, it's all undifferentiated. But from that comes every possible thing ever in the material world. There's no other substance for it to be made from. And same with the power. We're all powered by that. And although it's basically agreed that sentience, for example, doesn't go, it goes all the way down, but it doesn't carry consciousness with it like we have. So probably the idea of saying like a rock is at peace is maybe a little bit misleading. But peace is the natural state of everything. And if there's enough consciousness, which we have, built into that thing that comes from within that divine consciousness, then peace is part and parcel of who and what we are. So, we got perspective and perception leading toward peace. And the way that they lead toward peace is because when we get that right attitude, and when we see the world through that lens not colored by negative or untoward conditions, rather colored from the power and presence that is at our source. That brings with it this certain feeling of poise. Imagine that, another word with P. Poise being the attitude, the courage, the demeanor that we attain to when we see things with the right perception, the right attitude. And with that poise comes the understanding that we often associate with peace. Remember the peace that passeth all understanding? Well, that peace has to come in concert with poise, because without that, there is no real peace. We can give lip service to peace, or we can call acquiescence to something less than our full self to be peace, but it's not really. Peace carries with it that feeling, that standing in our truth, as it were. So when we are standing full in the truth, in the knowledge, steeped in the tradition of who we are as divine emanations, then that peace can come full front and center and permeate everything around us. We were talking earlier about the peace in the world, worldly conditions. We can't wave a magic wand and change the conditions of the world. The only condition we can change us, each of us. And just think about it, and I know this sounds kind of airy-fairy, right? Oh, gee, Bill, how was changing you going to stop the Mideast crisis? Well, it's not like that. It's like this. If I change me, and you change you, and you change you, and everybody in the world changes themselves, then all at once the whole world did change. So it's kind of the big picture sort of thing. But peace has to come to us individually before it can come to us collectively. It's just the way it is. That goes back to the human condition. Because we have a tendency to react to things rather than to respond. And I think we'll all agree that reacting is kind of an emotional thing. It's kind of a non-thinking, like going back to the primitive fight or flight kind of syndrome that's in people and animals. But that doesn't forward peace. What forwards peace is choosing peace. We are at choice every second of our life. And we don't choose between two things, generally. Sometimes we think we do, we get the feeling that we do, but we don't choose between two things. When we choose something, anything, we are choosing that as against all other possibilities. And sometimes we haven't really thought out those possibilities, and sometimes we don't need to because they're not really that germane to the discussion. But the fact is, we are at choice all the time, and what we ultimately choose is going to dictate what our world looks like. Michael Bernard Beckwith, one of my favorites down at the Agape Church in LA, says it like this: would you like to hide from me your deepest, darkest secrets? Ain't happening. You don't even have to tell them to me. I know what your thoughts are by looking at your world as it out pictures around you. Because that's what happens. That bumper sticker, thoughts are things. Well, it's true, and that's the really short version, and I don't like those little sound bites, but the fact is, things that we think are predominant thought, and especially when there's some passion and power put behind them, manifest in our world. They become the things in our world. So we have the choice to do that. We do not ever, ever, ever have to settle for less than the best.